A chilly morning and the sun is already up here at Djuma Game Reserve. Welcome to our live morning safari. My name is Mark, and Becky's on camera. Herman is in final control. And, well, apologies for being late. It seems to have been a European server problem somewhere in Europe that has been delaying things this morning. But I'm glad to have you with us. We're already on Impala Plains, and I've been following tracks. Almost a circle, actually. It's quite strange. Now, just to let you know, just an update, because I know there are a lot of you that have been very worried, but Karula and both cubs were seen last night, and they were heading up Voyatela Access Road. They evidently turned off north somewhere, but the tracks that I've been following now have been Karula on her own, and she seems to have headed west along Voyatela Access Road. She turned down Sandy Patch onto Impala Plains Road, or Impala Road, and I lost her tracks a couple of 100 yards back, and I'm guessing she went onto Triple M, so we're going to check on Triple M for tracks there. And we can talk about some other things while we're driving. But I think we've lost enough time already, and let's head out and see what we're going to do today. Lovely morning, crisp and clear and not a breath of wind. Welcome to South Africa, everyone. Hope you can have fun with us this morning. The Lion that were around yesterday all went west. I left their tracks heading west along the access road, so they must have headed towards the gate somewhere. Wires everywhere, getting caught up, and there we go. So we'll just check on Triple M quickly. Now, Induna must have had his kudu stolen, because one of the Voyatela guides was there this morning and there was nothing there. No leopard, no kudu, no nyama, as it were. Nyama, meat. Nyama in many African languages means meat, or is the word for meat. So I'm thinking she must have cut through the bush at some point onto Triple M. So it looks like she must have left her cub somewhere off of Voyatela Access Road. There were a lot of guinea fowl shouting around the western edge of the open area. I think Induna went past there. There was fresh dung and other tracks were too big for Karula. There is nothing here. So we'll make our way back to Zoe's Road, I think. Excuse me. control a tickle in the back of my throat. Hyena been around. Morning, Terry. Terry in Illinois. I want to know if Jody's with us in New Mexico and how those fires are doing in New Mexico. We've got fires in, where was it? Was it Arizona or not? It was Arizona, I think. Or was it Colorado? Or Nevada. Those are all desert places. See some pretty bad fires, I think, nowadays. Now Los Alamos, near New Mexico, near Los Alamos. Fires are pretty bad there. Illinois, I think you're pretty safe from fires at the moment, for sure. Although some flooding I hear in North Dakota, maybe. Anyways, hello world, wherever you may be in the world. Found snake eagles out early this morning. Well, I guess it could have been a lot earlier, and that might have been why the guinea fowl were behaving like they did. One thing that puzzled me about the guinea fowl that I saw this morning, on our way out, and we stopped to watch the sunrise, and unfortunately the stream was not behaving, so we couldn't show you the sunrise. It was quite pretty. But the guinea fowl had been split into 3 groups. and they were all calling, and they were probably about 100 meters apart. And while we were watching the sunrise, two of them flew behind us and went directly under a very heavy bush. Now they'll only really do that when there's an aerial predator. If there's a land predator, they'll fly into trees, and they'll probably be in the open in trees so that they can watch the predator moving around like a leopard. And at first I was thinking it was leopard that had disturbed the guinea fowl. Bye-bye, snake eagle. But I'm starting to think that it must have been the snake eagle, because we're not far from where we saw the guinea fowl. And then instead of just sitting and waiting in one place, I decided while we're waiting for the stream to sort itself out and for people to sort out the stream, we'll carry on driving. And that's what got us onto Impala Plains, because I was following Karula's tracks where she had come out of the bush, maybe where she had left the cubs, just near Aubrey's Road. And then there were the lion tracks of those lion heading west towards the gate. And then Karula turned southbound Impala Road and followed her, and then we got to Impala Plains to say hello to you. Karula's gone off in that direction. She might come back, so maybe at around 9 o'clock, if we make our way back to Impala Road, we might see her on her way back to the little ones. I'm guessing that she might have done that last night rather than this morning. Thank you, Annette. Shot of whiskey with some warm lemon and honey will sort it out. Actually, they were making Herman and Dan were making hot toddies last night. I didn't have one. I had my green tea with lemon and honey. I should have put a tot of whiskey in there. This time of the day, though, I suppose it could be medicinal. No, we're going to town tomorrow. I'm going to sort it out, find something for it. See if I can relocate these giraffe. There were 2 giraffe here this morning as well. They are in an open area. They were here this morning. They moved a little bit to the east. Take a shortcut. Sarah, morning to you. Asking where is town? Well, the town I'm talking about, Sarah, is a town called Hoedspruit. directly translated means pet stream. Hoedspruit is a stream. And Hoedspruit is about, let me think, 20, 50, 7, maybe 40, 45 miles away. 70 odd kilometers. But it takes a long time to get there. There's a smaller village. Well, there are a few villages actually closer by, and the closest village is a little village called Dixie, but that only has a couple of hundred people in it, and there's no clinic there. There's a clinic at Utah, which is the next village, which is, well, Dixie is about 5 kilometers outside the gate. Utah's an extra 5 kilometers after that, and then you get a slightly bigger town of Hluvukani. But I need more than just a little remote clinic. Let's get a nice look at these giraffes. Big male and a female. And they seem to be looking for something. Quite possibly other giraffe. Part of their group maybe that split up from them. Actually it's not. A big bull and a younger bull. So they have been split up from the crowd because this younger bull will probably still be with the female. Morning boys. And some of the guinea fowl too that were making a noise. Starting to sound like a poem. I think I'll stop there before I ruin the effect. Must be Father's Day for giraffe, I guess. Dad and son. Not too sure how old that little boy would be. Maybe about 4 or 5. He's not quite adult. Yeah, okay. Don't hide behind the Terminators, why don't you? But I think the way they're behaving is they're stopping and looking around, looking for the female. You can move again now, because now you're behind branches. Come. You see those 2 little squirrels in that marula tree? That's quite cute actually. A what I would like to do here, that's what I want, and then the giraffe walks in the background. Three squirrels. They were sitting in, one was sitting with its arm over the other. The difference in size between the squirrels and the giraffe. The squirrel's about the size of the giraffe's ear. Nature's infinite diversity is phenomenal. When you think about the skeletal structure of the animals, of all of us, all three of us, giraffe, squirrels, pretty much the same number, almost the same number of bones, heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, stomach, albeit a little different for the giraffe. A brain, red blood. But how this variety came about is remarkable with the sea. Nice light for giraffe. Getting the full light on their bodies, rather than at midday you just get shadows on the body. But this side light is always special to film in. Let's follow them. No one else out here in the open area. No sign of wildebeest, zebra, impala, warthog. Might be down towards the dam. Squirrel having a game with Aramark babblers in the tree here. Well, no longer, but they were. Oh, there's some impala further down, south of us. Well, Mr. Giraffe, we're looking for whatever you're looking for. So we're here. We're with you, old man. His legs aren't as long as his father, so he's got to trot to catch up. me, Starling. Now, if you notice that unique gait of the giraffe, I think one other animal that walks like that is a camel. Both legs on both sides. Or rather, both legs on each side. Perfect center of gravity to be able to do that. I was hoping to spend more time with them, but they're following these impala into that block of bushveld, and we'll have to leave them be now. Let's go and see this mongoose clan. There's a mongoose clan nearby. We'll see if we can catch up with them later. Some fun out of these mongoose early in the morning. Oh, is that a button quail? Or a baby Frank? Can't be a baby Franklin this time of year. Oh, it is a baby something that's gone deep into this. I can hear it calling now. This colony of mongoose should be a little bit more relaxed if they are a colony that live around here. They see more vehicles, well, see vehicles more often, I guess, not more vehicles. But they have, most of them have ducked back into burrows. So there's a huge termite mound. It's hard to get the scale of it just with a two-dimensional picture, but it's got to be at least maybe 12 feet tall, 12 feet up to the top. Multiple entrances to, I guess, what is their underground chambers. Quite a large group of mongoose too. Makes it difficult to focus on one particular patch of them, because they're all over the place, all doing something different. Essentially sunning themselves, doing a bit of grooming, warming up for before they head off and forage for the day. Scratching around for bugs, insects, other arthropods, small reptiles. And as big as this colony is, there is only one breeding pair. There is only one alpha male and female who do all the breeding. There'll be at least 24 mongoose here. That seems to be where the little ones are. That little clump that we're on now. Some youngsters. Sub-adults perhaps, more than youngsters. They don't seem to be doing much other than just gathering warmth and sun. I thought there might be a bit of playing, but I think they're too cold. They just want to warm up first. There's a little bit of goading going on. And grooming. Allo grooming, we call it, when animals in a social group groom each other. Oh, they all reacted to a francolin just chirping off to our left. not much. They didn't react in a way that indicates that it's immediate danger, because then they'd all dive into the burrows, but they did perk up and listen. Ella grooming helps strengthen those social bonds, and it is its chief purpose, its primary purpose is grooming, but it has just as important, I guess, in a way, is maintaining that social cohesion in the group. Grooming another individual helps get to places that you can't groom yourself. So it is also perhaps for the benefit of the whole group to groom each other, because the allo grooming each other maintains a higher level of health than if everyone was just to groom themselves. And there's another side to it. Actually, they've discovered that, I think in primates, they've discovered this in primates, and it obviously holds true for all animals that interact socially like that, that when we see baboons or monkeys combing through each other's hair or looking for fleas, the brain releases endorphins. It becomes a very pleasurable experience. And then that in itself obviously helps to strengthen those bonds, because then it makes an individual seek out another one to help, well, to groom, to be groomed. And to some degree, we as humans experience some of that when we go to a hairdresser. I don't think anybody can say that after a visit to a hairdresser, after having your hair washed and conditioned and combed and brushed and trimmed and blow dried, that you feel bad afterwards. I think anybody who has been to a hairdresser will walk out feeling a lot better than when they walked in, and that has a lot to do with the very same thing, the endorphins. Bite that tail. It's almost a vertical surface this little one is sitting on. Can't be very comfortable. Oh, there you go. Dwarf mongoose. We'll leave them be. As far as carnivores are concerned, we can only get bigger. In fact, as far as mammals are concerned, we can pretty much only get bigger. If we started, well, we've kind of been giraffe the tallest, dwarf mongoose one of the smallest. We'd have to find a shrew to find the smallest. I can set out and spend the next 3 hours looking for a shrew. Or 2 hours. Sorry kids, didn't mean to scare you. Shrews are not easy to find. Not these little shrews that we have here. The bigger giant elephant shrew and the Zambia elephant shrew. Some of the biggest shrews from Central East Africa. Bigger than squirrels. Giant elephant shrew is quite a large little mammal, actually. Large little mammal. About as bigger than a hamster, smaller than a rabbit. Minnesota. Hello Kathy. Welcome to our drive this morning. Sorry you missed the first part. Karula and both cubs were seen last night heading up Vuyatela Access Road. And hello Grey Lurie. And I found her tracks. Okay, we can't see Lurie. This plant, by the way, with these long stringy pods is the monkey pod. Just below us. The go-away birds gone off, but these monkey pods, we're going to see a lot of these go-away birds eating the seeds out of these monkey pods as they start ripening. Kathy, they headed up Vuyatela Access Road to the west and then turned off north. I found her tracks coming back onto Vuyatela Access Road this morning. She headed west and then turned south onto Impala Road towards Impala Plains. We went to have a look there, but we couldn't find anything. So we're continuing on. We're going to do a drive, and then maybe in about an hour or hour and a half we'll head back in that direction and go and see if she might be coming back towards where she left the cubs. We don't know where the cubs are. They must be off the road there somewhere. I guess we could always go and have a look, but rather leave them be. So yes, little female cub was relocated. She did find mom. So everybody can breathe a sigh of relief that the two little ones are safe and sound at the moment. And they were seen last night. Maya. Hello Maya. Maya, nobody goes out at night, so nobody knows what happened to that elephant last night. Don't know. We did talk to Tara about it a little bit, and it might be the same little elephant that we saw, must be at least 2 months ago maybe, that had a bad injury to its foot. And no, nobody's found elephant yet, so nobody knows where that elephant is, and it's not something, from what I understand of that, if it is the same, it's not something that's going to heal overnight. It's going to take some time to heal. But if we don't see the animals, there's no way of knowing how they're doing, I'm afraid. I'm going to go to Gowrie Dam because it looked like there was an interesting collection of hippo there yesterday. Tara was at the dam, and the last time we had so many hippo, I can't remember when it was, but we had 14 hippo here at the dam once. I believe there were about 13 yesterday, but they seem to all be standing around hyena tracks and drag marks, which is probably the kudu that they stole from Induna. I'm guessing, but good chance that that's what that was that I just saw. I'm not sure if it's the same young elephant that I saw a couple of months ago, but I did hear him yesterday morning though. A lot of screaming just near camp. Well, we can go up to Buffels of Cutline and look for elephant tracks. It's very upsetting to see animals that are injured, but that is because we are over emotional beings. Part of nature that things happen, can't be avoided. It's been going on for millions of years. It is the very thing that has made animals the way they are. Being able to survive. Well, the drag marks come out of there. So can only be the kill of Indunas that they stole. Only hyena tracks here with those drag marks. Teach him not to take his kill into a tree. I hope he at least got something out of it. Looks like water's dropping fast. Water level. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, greenback heron. Get on that stick. That's why I'm saying the water's dropping fast, because there's a stick that's sticking out. That hasn't been sticking out for a while, and there's a little greenback heron stick, so it just landed on it. Okay, now I'm seeing 10 hippo. So, I saw a remarkable film one day. Not with a greenbacked heron, I think. I'm not sure if it was a greenbacked heron or a black crowned night heron. So there was a guy fishing, a friend of mine who been in the entertainment industry all his life, has a friend who's a filmmaker, and he was fishing one day and he just happened to have his film equipment with him, and this heron He was on a river. It was a very slow-moving river. And this heron came along and stole some of the bread he was using, some of the bread or dough that he was using as bait. And it popped it in the river on the edge of the bank. And then it ran a little bit downstream and waited for the piece of bread to float by. And then it would catch the fish that was eating the piece of bread. And then it would pick up the piece of bread and take it back upstream and wait until it floated by, and the heron would eat one of the fish that was eating the bread. Clever heron. I hear geese on their way in. I think heron have to be one of the most patient birds. Although when you see a yellow-billed stork fishing, that can also be a great example of patience. A yellow-billed stork stands in the water with his beak open. A height of optimism that the fish is going to swim between those two sharp yellow spears. I think the camera's on us. Impala are all doing a wonderful dance on the other side. Wow. They're doing predator draw. I think we need to go back just to watch those impala because it's a rare occasion to watch them doing this, and I hope they're still going to be doing it when we get there. But let's just go back a little bit. Sorry, Kupo. Baboons here too. I can catch up with the Gari gang. Hello Jane. Jane wants to know how it's going with the dung beetle larva that I found. I haven't found it. It somehow got out of the matchbox. and it's now feeding on the Gunda. So it's going to turn into a Land Rover eating dung beetle, or otherwise a Land Rover rolling dung beetle when it grows up. Of course, now they're all standing around as though it's like that Gary Larson cartoon. The cows all standing up talking to each other, and as soon as the farmer comes along, they drop down onto four legs and eat grass. But they have a very particular way of running around and displaying, I think is the best word, these impala, when they're doing a fire drill. Well, it's a predator drill, the equivalent of kids in school doing a fire drill. Unfortunately, my dung beetle larva is no longer. But it would have taken, if it is still around here, it's going to become a pupa, and it'll only emerge in September, October. Maybe on a game drive, September, October, we'll have a dung beetle emerging out of the dashboard. You can only sort of see one of the baboons. We'll see if we can get a little bit closer to them. Sadly, the impala have stopped displaying. But they do. It's not called pronking. It's only the gazelles that pronk, or the springbuck. Impala have a different. Baboon up there. That's Tank Man. Impala have a slightly different way of dancing, flaring their tails, flag signaling, a little bit of snorting. Morning, children. Now, what I find very unusual, and I've seen this everywhere I've been in Africa, that we have baboon right here amongst these impala. And the impala, that might be Evelyn, that little one riding on, that might be Shirley and Evelyn, that little one riding on the back of Mom. She's sitting down now, letting little one maybe move around a bit. It looks like quite a youngster, so I'm thinking it might be Shirley with baby Evelyn. But I was saying, I've seen on many occasions and in many different places baboon sitting amongst impala, and then this is mostly around lambing season when they're very young. They're suddenly grabbing one of the lambs and pulling it to pieces and feeding on it. Quite an horrific thing to see. I've seen them do it with young warthog as well. Yet they're not seen as predators. They have the appearance of a predator. Their eyes are on the front of their face, as are all other predators. And despite the fact that they might even feed on an impala from the very same herd that they sit amongst, the impala never seem to be concerned about them. I've even seen baboon and bushbuck interact, and baboon taking ticks off of bushbuck, grooming bushbuck. Vervet monkeys as well. Now there is... I think that... I'm just looking at one of them now running from me. I made eye contact. They know me. Yeah, baboon are highly intelligent and they recognize individuals. They've got incredible eyesight. And when I see them at camp, I get somewhat aggressive with them. I chase them because they have caused so much damage and destruction that it's the only way to do is discourage them is to, I guess, be a little aggressive and nasty. So that, I don't know who that is. But here comes the other mom. Oh wait, that was LB, that other mom. This is maybe... No, this is LB. Gosh, I don't know them as well as Tara does. I think Tara spent a lot of time with Graham learning about the baboons. And I haven't much of an idea of the whole troop. I do know their numbers have dwindled since I first got here. Okay, evidently there's a leopard behind us somewhere. Let's just quickly turn around and see. But somebody saw that on camera. Sorry, Becky. Means that Induna might still be around here. Whoops. So now, whoever zooming and whoever's been seeing that, we need to have a bit more info where about that was, where it went. Impala and baboon haven't seen it yet. A little bit far away. My guess is it's Induna. Hello, Hez. And also thank you very much for your email yesterday. That was Very nice of you. Why do the rumps of the baboons differ in colour so much? It's the females that have those very big pink fleshy things on their rump. Look at this heron in here. I don't know what it is. I can't see it very well. Is it a fairly clear shot? Left of the main trunk is just a little bit lower than eye level. Probably too many branches in the way from that height. Okay, I need direction from somebody who saw that leopard so we can find it. I can hear a Franklin complaining below me on the right. Find it. Let's see if we can be able to get to see this heron. It's a juvenile. Inlet, as in room 8 way. Oh, the spillway. Hello, heron. Pretty heron. Could be a juvenile greenback. Okay, let's move across the dam. Okay, close to where the hippos are. And when was it there? Was it there? I wonder if it was now, if it was within the last few minutes. He does like sleeping on this spillway. Morning, Roger. Leopards sleep in trees. Do they sleep soundly or lightly, hearing noises? Well, they don't always sleep in trees, Roger. It depends on where it is. In some places they'll sleep in trees because it gets them higher off the ground, it's cooler, and it's also out of the way of things like tsetse flies. That's up in East Africa. But yes, if there's danger, if there's immediate danger, they will sleep in trees. As far as how deep they sleep was concerned, that's debatable. You look at it in much the same way as domestic cats sleep, I suppose. They sleep fairly soundly, but they're tuned into any noise that might be a threat. Uh, 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes is quite a long time. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to... I see tracks here going down the other way. We'll just have a look at the top and do a little bit of a loop around. But there was a leopard track now where I am. Yeah, they sleep soundly to a point, but if they heard something walking nearby, something crunching leaves or walking in the grasses, they would wake up immediately. I don't want to get too close to hippo. I don't really want to disturb them, but here's little one in front of us. Little hippo that has been named Storm by some of the viewers. I think that's the little one that was born in the storm, or shortly after. Before or after, can't remember. Okay, which way did the leopard go? See, we need to know these things as soon as possible. If you're looking at us with the camera, you're looking east. So to the left, up towards the top of the dam, is north. Over the dam wall is south. Let's move and drive around a little bit and see. Go onto Central Road, maybe. You walk down. What? Okay, no. That's my fault. I'll move before Becky can zoom out. I must watch my monitor. I'm just too quick to start up. But we'll get used to each other. I mean, the way we work. Let's go down Central Road a little bit. I'm thinking maybe south of the wall again, because there was I saw one track in the spillway going south. Thank you, Destiny. Would have been practically on the leopard when I parked at the dam. Yeah, that does help a little, thanks, but I need to know where it went, which way it went. I'm guessing south because I saw one footprint, but that might have been from another time. I think this is quite incredible that we have people on the other side of the world guiding me to a leopard that I can't see yet. Let's see if there are any tracks here, and then we go back into the spillway. And also, where I parked earlier, was that when looking at the hippos, or when I first came onto the dam wall? See, I need specifics, folks. Need specifics. Nothing on Central Road. He hasn't walked here, so he's gone back down, maybe below the wall. Okay, we're gonna look around. If there was a leopard here, good chance we can find him. Tracks here though. But we will have a look here nonetheless. And then we'll just go over to the other side and down below the wall. Nope, not seeing anything here. Hyena tracks here. I'm just going to stop here for a minute. Take off my jacket. We need to mark a point in time. Like now. Mark taking his jacket off. Was the leopard on that side when I was parked there, or was the leopard here on the damn wall when I initially parked here? Do you know where you?
Okay, Pearson is saying it was going from the hip.
Oh, it's no good talking to me if I'm not hearing that. Say that again. Back towards the light in the leadwood tree. T-junction. Okay, forgive me, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not getting much sense out of that. Hello, look what I found, one of my children. Tenebrianid. Dam was on Mark's left. T-junction was behind him. Okay, so leopard went, so that was on that side of the dam. And talking about that T-junction, crossroads. No, it's not a dung beetle. It's a tenebrianid. It's a ground beetle. And he's gone into a little bit of a Still state. Okay. So we need to go down below, down back onto that side of the dam. Maybe down below the wall. Somewhere in that area. Hello? Anyways. Beetle doesn't like to be touched. So I'm going to put it back. Come, child. No, come. This is a beetle. I don't know if those of you have been around quite a while, but now, what makes a beetle, or rather one of the features of a beetle that makes it not a bug, are very, very hot. Oops. Now it's playing dead. But the very, very tough outer wings that are called elytra, and they protect the inner flying wings. Sorry. And this is a ground beetle. These elytra are fused because it doesn't fly anymore. It's a ground beetle. It lives on the ground. So I'm putting it back on the ground. Hopefully it won't walk under the car. Off you go. That's what you have to do, beetle. Tenebrianid. See, leopard also could have been aiming for those impala that were running around, but there are baboon there. So we'll keep an ear out for the baboon too. So Destiny, I'm just curious, was that leopard there when we were parked here? It must have been when we first got here. Yeah. So I guess we were here filming the heron and the hippos. I'm wondering if it was exactly the same time, or if it had just been before then. Hey, little heron. Well, the geese weren't making a noise, so it must have been before we got here then. I'd say it was before we got here. Because when we were here, there was no noise, and Destiny was saying that, or someone was saying that the geese were making a noise. And the leopard went towards the T-junction. Let's have a look for track here then. Around. This is where I see a lot of tire tracks going in here, so I'm assuming this is where the kill was yesterday. It could be that he's headed back there after maybe being chased off by hyena and having the kill stolen by hyena. Maybe headed back there and sniffing around a little bit. Yeah, it's gone though. No alarm calls or anything at the moment, so where this leopard went, anybody's guess. buffalo thorn and tambushi. So try and avoid both. Oh. Sorry, knobthorn. Kind of stop when you hear the bump. Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth wants to know differences between cheetah and leopard. Well, let's see. The main difference, the primary difference, the first thing you're going to notice is the cheetah is very tall, very long legs, very slim cat, very thin, very sleek, as opposed to a leopard, which has much shorter, stockier legs, thicker neck, broader head. Odd tracks here, but not as fresh as I would like to see them. And then when you get closer to the cheetah or the leopard, you will find that the cheetah has got spots all over its body, solid round spots, whereas the leopard, although the leopard does have spots, some spots, the predominant markings on the leopard's body are what we call rosettes. They're kind of flower-shaped round markings with a orange, well, and they don't have the black center to them, so they're a different color in the center. Right there. Hi stations, anyone got an update for me?
I've got the herd of Nyari at the door and
Copy, thanks. No, I can't come on to Torchwood. Jacques coming?
Yeah, starting by with the guy we got just a guy that was active over here outside the party. That was about it.
Is that you that just passed me on Twin Dams Road at Gary Dam?
Yeah, I know.
We had on the Gari Dam camera, we had an Ingwe that evidently crossed heading south. I'm just down below the dam wall having a look around.
Okay, confirm what time was that?
About half an hour ago, I believe.
Okay, copy. Excellent, thanks very much.
This exact spot where we are not going to be recognizable in daylight. If we were here in the infrared, you'd recognize it. But there's a tree over there, it's fallen down, and this patch of grass in front of us, this is where we saw Mbilo Jordan and Karula mating. I think it was myself and Alex, maybe. I can't remember who was on camera that night. But that was end of August, I think it was. October, no, end of July, 1st of August, I think. August, September, October. Something like that. End of July last year, when Karula was mating with Mbilo Jordan, that made the cubs that we see today, was right here. Myself and Texan were watching. But no luck. Shark coming? Did you come up all the way on Twin Dams Road? Okay, thanks. No. Getting hot. Very hot. Well, we know there's a leopard here somewhere, we're just not going to be able to find it. By the looks of things. Yes, at any rate. Sure. Reminds me of my army training. When we were doing counter-terrorism exercises. It was middle of winter, it was the Cape, it was cold and wet. We used to wake up in the morning and we were living in trenches as we were sort of doing training with live ammunition as though it was a real war situation, and we dug trenches and we were living in these trenches and we would do exercises from them. We'd have to wake up in the early morning and we'd have only a couple of minutes to get ready, get our rifles cleaned, our boots polished, shave and everything. And the water bottles, we would have these 1 litre plastic water bottles. They were frozen solid in the morning. It was freezing cold. So we would sleep in layers. I mean, the army sleeping bags weren't that great. And we would sleep in lots of layers. And then we'd head off. We would have to run. It was well over a mile back to HQ. And we'd have to run a long way. And of course, during exercises, you'd have to start shedding layers, but you'd have to keep your army uniform on. It was this dichotomy of being freezing in the morning, but then within minutes being so hot because you had so many layers on. Well, it just reminds me of that today. I just wanted to show you. Look, there's a very old vertebra that I found. I'm intrigued by the shapes of vertebrae. This one is missing a wing. They look like angels sometimes. There's the head. Hand raised, those are the wings at the back. So I'm starting to take layers off, and it leaves me with not a very khaki coloured top on my sweater. But I could hide amongst the tamboti because the tamboti leaves are going this colour. Okay, onward home. That would possibly be from... It looks cervical. Don't know, it's fairly large. It's not big enough to be buffalo. It's too big to be impala. Could be big male nyala or waterbuck. Hello Frank. Do we ever travel Elephant Skull Road, and are there actually skulls there? Yes and no. Yes, we do travel Elephant Skull Road, and no, I'm afraid Frank, no skulls there. There used to be. Evidently many years ago there was an elephant that passed away there, died of natural causes, and there was once upon a time a skull there, I believe. Alright, let's go to Elephant Skull Road. Frank wants to do this. Let's go and see Elephant Skull Road. Elephant bones don't stick around for very long. They don't, after an elephant dies, other elephants come along and move the bones around. Some elephants will pick up the bones, carry them off, sometimes long distances, especially elephants that were associated with the elephant that died. The skull itself, sometimes they will roll it around, not constantly, but every time they pass that area they will roll that skull, and they will... Let's go just quickly, last chance, let's check in here. And the skull pretty much disintegrates over time. So I don't know what happened to that skull that once upon a time was on the elephant skull. I know Graham, when Graham used to live here, Graham Cook, he had an elephant skull in his garden. And I was actually thinking sometime to get it from him so that I could talk to you about it and show you the features of an elephant skull. However, he's moved, and I don't think that skull's there anymore. I must go and have a look, but I don't think it's there anymore. It's worth a try. Nowhere to go in here anyway. I'm losing the clutch here. Hello Maya. Maya saying if it's noticed that there's a spoonbill in the pond with a fishing rope, I guess you're talking about fishing line, around its foot, do we help him? Maya, are you talking about Pete's Pond? I mean, we've had spoonbill here. I have seen spoonbill. Spoonbills. I have seen a spoonbill here before, and I have seen spoonbills up at home. in the dams. But I'm guessing that maybe you're talking about Pete's Pond, Maya, wanting to know if we will help it. Problem with that, yes, we should help it because that is a man-made or man-caused problem. Problem with that though is how do you catch a spoonbill? You know, it's one thing when you have an animal that has a snare or something that you can dart. Birds, on the other hand, pretty difficult to get hold of. See if we can make it to Chelapan before I have to put some fluid in. Are we going to go to Elephant Skull? Maybe there's a bone or two. I know there are a bone or two lying around, but not a skull. No, there is a bone or two. Gosh, listen to my English. So, keep an eye out for the leopard at the dam. Let me know if it comes back. Always come back to the dam. Franklin. And next morning again, baby hippo biting at another hippo and then jumping around. Is that aggression or playing? Sounds like playing. I'd have to really see it to be sure. But it sounds like it's trying to entice that other hippo in a game or something. It's like a 2-year-old child running up to an adult and pinching them and running away and hoping that the adult will chase him. Thanks, Maya. Yes, was it Peach Pond? Maya saying spoonbill. There's some fishing line. Maya was saying, hoping that the fishing line hindered its flight capable flying hook, and it's possible to catch it. I wouldn't even know who to contact at Peach Pond. Actually, Pete will know, but I'm sure they would be aware of it though. Just looking at a thick knee that's hiding from us, or trying to hide, and I'm gonna no, I won't get to see a water thick knee. That bird, by the way, is a water thickney, and probably going to be disturbed because I'm standing out of the vehicle now, because I have to just fill up some fluid. Won't take me long, and then I'll get to Laurie's question. Ole. Ole, ole, ole. Just taking a few more layers off. I think I'm more neutrally coloured now. I hear Franklin's making a bit of a noise down below us. We're going to just go down there. If this leopard followed the drainage line. And if I can get the clutch, there we go, working again. Right, where were we? Laurie was in South Africa. Laurie. Is it L-O-R-I or L-A-U? Laurie was in South Africa. L-A-U, Laurie, California. When Laurie was in South Africa, she was filming a dung beetle rolling a ball, and she's saying that it seemed the dung beetle was very intent on a particular direction, even when there were obstacles in the way, dung beetle would still maintain the same direction. Are these dung beetles busy all year round, and do they have a pre-arranged burrow? No, Laurie, towards late summer the dung beetles stop. The easiest way to tell whether they're dung beetles or not is when you look at dung. If the dung is spread out, especially elephant dung, the dung is all spread out and no longer in that very thick bolus, then you know that there are dung beetles. If the dung is still solid, there are no dung beetles. But no, there are no dung beetles this time of the year. Rhino have been here. Doesn't look like leopard's been here. Okay, we stuck. Stiff lock. And we unstuck. Okay, Maya has the message, well, just an update for you from Janet, that Pete of Pete's Pond has been contacted. He has said that he will go out there and assess the situation and deal with it accordingly. Thanks to Zoomies. Laurie, just to finish on the note of dung beetles rolling balls, you see what happens is they have to get that dung ball away from the dung, and that's why they will choose a certain direction, because if they don't, and it'll be a particular angle to the sun that they will move, and that's why they go in a straight line, because that gets them away from the dung heap itself, so that the competition for the dung isn't that great, as well as there's a greater chance of baby hippo is here, little baby hippo track. If they were to roll the dung ball and just leave it close to the dung heap, there's a greater chance of something like a honey badger, for example, digging it up during the dry season, eating all the larvae, and by dispersing their dung balls and going in different directions, it gives the larva a greater chance of survival and a greater chance of making it to adulthood. I don't know what it is that determines distance, or for that matter, that direction. Why one, I guess, in their brains, if there are 5 dung beetles and they each one of them has a different direction, they move and they bury their dung balls far away from each other. Whereas if they were all governed by the same rules, they would all roll them in the same direction, and then they'd still be faced with the same problem of being too close to each other. Hippo tracks. And we're still on target for Elephant Skull Road for a look for elephant bone. There are one or pieces of bone that I've seen on Elephant Skull Road, but hardly recognizable as coming from an elephant. I'm looking at the trees around me. I think we've had we look at this buffalo thorn, and we look at this wattle. These leaves have died suddenly. We've had a cold snap that has killed the leaves prematurely. These leaves are not taking their natural course of changing color and drying and falling off. Distinct difference between trees that withdraw their nutrients and their moisture from their leaves, and the leaves change color and fall, as opposed to leaves that are actually killed on the tree by severe weather. A little male duiker in here. Hopefully he stays. No, he's gone already. Because I stopped. And down into the riverbed. Now this is Twin Dams Road. On the map, Elephant Skull Road is probably marked wrong. I think they marked Elephant Skull Road where Chelapan Road is. Where we are now, in this bend on Twin Dams Road, this is Elephant Skull Road. To the right. Giraffe. Oh, honey badger was here. Hi Al, how are you today, tonight, this morning? Anyone seen Mafufunya and know how his injury is doing? No, Al, no, he wasn't seen the day or yesterday at all. So the last time we saw him was pretty much, the last time he was seen, pretty much when we left him. Day before yesterday. Lying flat on his side at Treehouse Dam. Well, we're on Elephant Skull. We'll continue across Weaver's Nest to Treehouse Dam and have a look around, see if there are any tracks of his around there. But once again, that's another thing. That injury is not something that's going to clear up overnight. He's going to be sore for a little while. I've seen cats with the same kind of injury, domestic cats even, and very distinct bite mark on his bicep. And if anyone's a vet, I think you'd agree with me that there's an infection from that bite mark that's causing that swelling and making him uncomfortable. And his body's just going to have to fight that infection, which it will. When an old leopard like that has seen many, many fights. He's got scars from many fights. He would have experienced that before. Also, maybe even a claw mark, a claw puncture. Predators collect a lot of bacteria in their claws from hunting and from clawing at their carcasses, and the blood and the bits of meat that maybe get caught inside their claws. Their claws, it is a little bit hollow, and under their nails, much like we can get dirt under our nails, they can get dirt under theirs, but their dirt is dried blood and meat that gets, and bacteria that comes with it. So an injury from a claw, from a predator, from a leopard or a lion, can become quite septic too. But they do have their saliva. There is antibacterial properties of in their saliva, and they will lick the wound continually, and by licking the wound they will help it heal. Little robin calling, white-browed scrub robin. I'm going to find a flower for the ladies today. Still looking for a Tapenanthus in flower. Another knobthorn coming into flower, just passing that one. That's interesting. The second knobthorn I've seen coming into bloom. It's going to be interesting because they're blooming early and there are not that many insects about. There are a few bees about. And bees are important for pollinating knobthorns. Bees and wasps. And it will be interesting to see whether they produce seed pods this year. They did last year, this last season, but that's because they were flowering normally last year. Year before they flowered in July, they didn't produce seed. So that was Elephant Skull Road. This is the extension of it. So it's not really called Elephant Skull, this part. This is Treehouse Dam Road south. No, north. That's south. We'll do a big triangle. Come back this way. No bones. There were elephant tracks there, so the bones move around a lot with the elephants. Zebra tracks up and down to and from the water. Hello, Caroline. Question coming from Missouri. Caroline in Missouri. Watching little storms and a hippo out of the water and not seeing it nurse. Do hippos nurse in the water? Yes, they do, Caroline. Quite remarkable to watch them actually, because they nurse for a while and then you just see the little nostrils come up for air and go back down again. There are the zebra and have been to the water. just missed them drinking. Just want to see, something went into this hole. Don't know if it was a squirrel. Might have been. I just saw movement, it's like a tail disappearing. Hello, zebra. These 4 again. See if we can see them on the road again now. Judging by the angle of the sun, morning's wearing on already. Sometimes I don't know where the time goes. There were elephants here, there's some young elephant tracks. Elephants, no, tracks of young elephants. Gosh, getting tongue-tied. Might be too far, quite fresh track. Hello, zebra. Bye, zebra. Wandering off. I want to be sociable today. Okay. did my elephants go? Let's see. Thank you, Mitzi. Mitzi saying, well, asking, are all botanists ladies? No. There are men, but I just didn't think it would be appropriate finding flowers for the men. That's the chivalry. The chivalrous side of me that wants to find a flower for the ladies, and I just found one. No, not this. This is a flower for the men. It's a 5-petal to the 5-sided flower. The second rusty bolt I've found in a while. This is the flower for the ladies. There's my daily flower. Except I got no picture there, so doesn't matter. Somehow I lost the power on my monitor because I've been fiddling with it. Or maybe it's just the sun that's so bright. Doesn't matter. But that is I think probably more botanists are men than women. Devil's thorn flower. Also known now, I believe in Minnesota. Somebody who's in Minnesota. Which flower are you on? That one at the back?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the one.
Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Nice one. If I'm not mistaken, Minnesota has a state flower. Is it the lady's slipper or something? Somebody will have to just let me know. Somebody was talking about that flower one day, thinking that we had one similar. But this is also nicknamed the lady's slipper because it's pink and it's pretty shaped. But it's the tongue-tied devil's thorn. And here is a thorn, a seed of the devil's thorn. It conveniently grows like this on the ground with those two thorns sticking up to be trodden on by something. It'll stick to the hoof of an animal.
Gotta change battery.
Oh, we got to change batteries. Okay. Now. So, animal stands on it. I'm not gonna. It's sharp. I promise you, sharp and very, very, very hard. I can't even break the tip of that thorn with my finger. So it shows you how sharp that is. the one thing that's extremely painful, walking barefoot in the bush. And that's why I don't do much barefoot walking at this time of the year, because there are a lot of thorns, in particular the devil's thorn. And well, nature's way of making sure that the seed gets dispersed away from the parent plant. Dicerocarium. Break the name down, the scientific name. Di meaning two, ceros meaning horn, and carium meaning seed. Dicerocarium. Thank you, Nana. Lady slipper is a Minnesota State flower. See, some obscure things stay in my head and some important things just somehow get lost in my mind. Hello, Miss Chris. Morning to you. How long I can keep the thorn on my head? If I wear a devil's thorn on my head, does that make me no? Miss Chris wants to know how many leopards are known to the Djuma fans, Djuma viewers, besides Karula and the cubs. Well, there are her first two litters, which are 4 leopards. Look, there's an African monarch. Oh, it's flown away. It's sitting in the sun. Butterfly. 2 monarchs arguing over sunspots. No, it can't be. Clock's wrong. Can't be 6 minutes. So there's Karula's first 2 girls, and then her second litter, the 2 boys, and then this litter, there's her mate, Mbilo Yodan, there's Mafufunyan, there's Mvula, there is Ntima, there was White Cloth, she died, her son, we don't know who he is, where he is. There's been an unknown male, young male leopard seen further down south at Inyati, southwest, that way. I was wondering if it's maybe him, or they thought it was Mishu, but Tara says it's not Mishu. Tara had a look at that. And Safari, Nkanyeni. There are a number of leopards known to us here at Djuma. I think there's a Facebook page, Leopards of the Sabi Sand. Big elephant went the other way. Back to Zoe's Road. I was hoping we'd have some time to get back towards Impala Plains and see if Karula's on the move. Well, she might be even on this road. It's time of day when we have seen her moving about more often than not. Bit of Francolin. We're on slightly higher ground here, and the temperature on this higher ground is considerably warmer than where we were down on Twin Dams Road. I was showing you those leaves that have clearly been killed off by a cold spell. I wouldn't say a frost. I don't think we don't quite get a frost, but it must have been fairly close to a frost to have caused that kind of die-off. But now we're on higher ground. It's easy to see the same tree species. That's where the elephants were quite recently, actually. Must have come from the dam, not this way. But the wattles, the African wattles, and the buffalo thorn leaves here are still green and fleshy. So this higher ground didn't experience that same cold temperature as is happening in the drainage lines. I thought maybe we'd be lucky and catch an elephant before the end of drought. But I might just have to wait until this afternoon, I'm afraid. We shall be out again at 3:30 Central African time on our quest for wildlife. Just want to try and get to this open area to say goodbye. Gaze off into the distance, longingly for the likes of cheetah and wild dog and elephant, and something maybe we haven't seen for a while. Silence of the radio tells me that not much was spotted this morning, besides two lion on Torchwood and some rhino on Gari Main, east of our eastern boundary. But I'm sure it'll be a good idea to head to the east this afternoon, up to Cheetah Cutline, Buffelshoek Dam, and see what we can find there. My name is Mark. Becky's been on camera, and you've been with us here on Wild Earth Safari. Hope you've enjoyed the morning, and thank you for the questions. I hope, with a bit of luck, the Zoomies might find a leopard at the dam again today, and that's something that we can follow up again on this afternoon. So thanks for joining us. Thanks to all the crew back at Final Control, and from all of us here at Wild Earth Safari. Bye, everyone.